I'm going to invite up our final speaker, Jess Miller-Bushell. She is the UK SMB Sales Development Manager for Reward Gateway. She's going to be talking about the 3 C's: curiosity, control the controllables, and consistency. She's going to be talking about how she hires for successful reps, focusing on the process, not results. She originally made her move to sales from recruitment, joined Reward Gateway in 2017, and she's since spent the last 5 years being promoted several times into her current role for the management of SMB. Big round of applause for Jess, please.
I'm actually going to stand this way so I can see my own slides. And I did say to James he probably should have given me a step ladder so I could get up there today, to be fair. But yeah, thanks for having me. Do you want to go on to the next slide for me, please? So yeah, the 3 C's, so how to be a great SDR. So actually, this was a really easy topic for me to pick because I've been doing a lot of SDR interviews recently. And one of the questions I get often from good SDRs at the end is, what are you looking for from a great SDR? So if you can go to the next slide. Oh, sorry, I didn't know if I had to do my own bio, so there we go. Next one after that, please, thank you. So number 1, curiosity, being really important. I think it's probably the most fundamental part of being a really great rep and actually being a really great salesperson, full stop. And the way I think about it is from an external point of view, are you being curious on the phones? Are you asking open questions on the phone, second layer questions? I think really commonly what I've noticed actually quite late on in my career is we often will start a question with is or if, but actually the best way to ask a question openly is what, where, when, why, so that you can get the answer from prospects. But you've got to do this for yourself as well. So in terms of why am I an SDR? Why do I want to be good at sales? Why? What do I need to do to be a good SDR? What do I need to do to get better at second layer questionings? So this can apply in every aspect. The other thing in terms of curiosity, in terms of externally, is making sure that you're, being curious in terms of networking. You're all here, so well done. You can give yourselves a round of applause for getting yourself here. And make sure that you're being curious in regards to how are you upskilling yourself in regards to like your development. What is your next career step? Where do you want to be in the next sort of role? So we've talked about management, we've talked about AE. It doesn't always have to be AE or management. It could also be client success manager, or it could be speaking at events. Sales applies to everything, to be fair. And then when it comes to controlling the controllables, really simply, I think it kind of says what it is on the tin. But externally, how you can control the controllables is make sure that you're framing your calls correctly. So you've got to set the tone when you're getting on the phone to prospects. You've got to make sure that you're framing the call from the get-go, because otherwise you're going to end up being led by the prospect. Secondly, control the controllables. When it comes to how are you mirror match leading. I don't know if anyone's heard of mirror match lead before. So I actually did door-to-door for 6 years, commission only. That was my actual first entry into sales. If anyone wants to know that story, I can tell you about it later. But in regards to one of the best things I learned in door-to-door sales was mirror match lead. So being able to really mirror somebody in terms of their language. Are you speaking the same way as them? But also, are you then able to then match them and then lead that conversation from that point? So that's such an important way how you can control sort of the controllables. But in terms of internally, are you protecting your attitude? Are you genuinely thinking, I've got control over this? No one else, your managers can support you, your peers can help you, that we can share learnings, but really, are you genuinely being purposeful with your time? Have you blocked out your diary? Have you listened to calls? Have you set up role plays with your colleagues? We're big advocates on role plays. It doesn't always have to be with your manager. You guys can learn so much from each other, from your team. So what are you doing that's really investing in yourself? So how are you controlling your destiny? Sorry to be cheesy, but it is true at the end of the day. So what are you doing to control how you work? And then in terms of other things internally, it's really important to control your reputation. You know, are you credible within your business? Do your colleagues talk about you positively? Are they your champions internally? Are you getting involved in things outside of just your role? I don't know if anyone else finds this, but sometimes when you've been in sales for a little while, it can get a little bit monotonous, you know, you can, doing the same thing all the time. So actually adding additional responsibilities. So I was part of the culture team, I've been part of social teams, part of recruiting, things like that within my world. It really helped me to get better at being a rep because it allowed me to lead by example. I don't know about anybody else, but being quite competitive, I like to be the person that is being the best example quite often. So that's really important. And then consistency, again, speaks for itself. I don't think in regards to consistency there's much difference between external and internal. But what I will say is when it comes to consistency, it's really important that people saying something once is not going to build trust in anybody, okay? So it's really important. If you're saying, yeah, I'll help you with this internally with your colleagues, and then you're not showing up for them on the day, you're going to lose all credibility, and consistency will help you get better. So that's where role plays come in. And I wanted to essentially leave it on pretty much the next slide, I think, or the slide after. I can't actually remember. Nope, I've done all of this. So yeah, next, next. This one, yeah. It's not what we do once in a while that shapes our lives, it's what we do consistently. It's really, really important that if you're going to be wanting to do anything well, you've got to stay consistent and do it every day. Practice makes perfect. When I did door-to-door sales, and I lean on this because if I'm honest with you, most people quit after a week or so. And I think my twin brother, he quit literally a week later, and then I was like, no, I've got to stick at this because I want to prove that I'm not going to just bail. And the reason I did is because I wanted to prove that anyone can get into sales, anyone can be good at sales. And yeah, it turned out I was pretty good at it. And it was just turning up every day, role-playing every day, not giving up on myself just because everybody thought I was going to, because surely I would because my twin brother did, right? So just turn up for yourself every single day, regardless of if it's a good or bad day, and you will win. That's it.